Hey, today I'm talking about how shame sets you up to be a victim of abuse, whether that's narcissistic abuse or just encountering anybody who will think that you're some type of prey. Now, what shame is, this is the best definition that I found online. It's a painful emotion caused by the belief that one is or is perceived by others to be inferior or unworthy of affection or respect because of one's actions, thoughts, circumstances, or experiences. Now, the thing with this is that if you grew up in a dysfunctional environment, chances are you've experienced shame. I know I've experienced dealing with shame a lot in my years. I'm not going to even lie. And it doesn't even need to be that you grew up in some type of dysfunctional household. It could be that you went to school, you did something that really humiliated yourself, and you felt humiliated in front of other people, and then you could have this shame, feeling somehow that you're just not good enough, feeling all the time that other people are somehow better than you, and that you're somehow deficient, dysfunctional in this world, feeling like out of place all the time. And with the shame, you may think that you're hiding it, but people that know what they're looking for, and even just sometimes based on your body language, people can sense this shame in you. So we're not always able to cover it up as well as we might think. You can sometimes spot shame by people who walk around, they're always playing small. They're minimizing their skills. Like, you can tell them, oh, how good they are. They're like, no, I'm not really a great painter. Picasso was better than me. This one was better than me. Rembrandt, or whoever else it is. I wasn't really paying attention in that college class about art. That was just not my thing. But this person is always putting themselves down, always playing small. They really can't take a compliment because something in them feels like they don't deserve this compliment. They're not worthy of it. So they're always trying to put that attention on someone else. You may notice this shame, for instance, if you're in college and you're taking classes, and then there's always this person who never wants to go up to speak. Even if you know they know the answer, you may have had a study group with this person, they may have known the answer, but they don't want to speak up because they don't want people to look at them. That's another sign, like, oh, they can't look at people in their eyes long enough. They're always averting eye contact. Why? They're ashamed that the spotlight is going to be on them, that they're somehow going to be critiqued. And they're right. You will be critiqued, especially if you're trying to do some presentation in class, you're doing some type of work. But a person that's removed from the shame, they may feel a little that does not have the shame, or their shame is not as high as yours. They may have a little anxiety, but they can calm themselves down rather quickly and bounce back, like, oh, this is going to be okay. I studied, I prepared for this, I'm going to do well. Everything will be all right. I know I got this. The person with shame may start hyperventilating if they're in front of others, having to present. They may have anxiety attacks so bad that they have to back out. They can't do what they need to do, and they know the stuff. They're not inadequate, but something about what happened with them when they were younger, they can't get over the fact that there's somebody is going to punish them or humiliate them. Like, if you grew up in a household where it was always you would get a smacked or some type of spanking or yelled at or put down, if you didn't do things perfectly, you probably grew up as that person that's always like timid, walking on eggshells. You're scared to do anything wrong. And the thing with shame is it makes you feel so small, but it also blocks you off from the living life fully and the blessings that life has, because whereas you should be maybe further along in your career, you're now backing down. You're not accepting the great assignments. You're not accepting all these promotions. You're not accepting the good that comes with life. People may invite you somewhere. People may invite you on dates, whatever it is. People may have proposed to you, whatever it is, and you're always like backing away because you feel like, oh, if they really get to know me, they're going to see what I'm trying to hide. They're going to think that I don't think that I'm the best mother or the best father. They're going to see that maybe I'm not the best cook. Maybe they're going to see I'm not the best lover. Whatever it is, maybe they're going to see I'm not the smartest. That shame has always got you in your head thinking the worst of everything. Now, sometimes people that's in your present life is probably always stunned, like, wow, this person is so handsome, or wow, this person is so beautiful. Why won't they go after this promotion? Why won't they try to get better opportunities in life when it's there? Why is this person continuing to always downgrade themselves? And because they don't understand that other layer underneath you, And this is why sometimes that if you're dealing with that shame, it attracts you and that narcissist together, because the thing is, the person that's not toxic but dealing with the shame is really is not good at hiding that shame and their insecurities. That narcissist also has some shame with them, at least what I've seen, that from what I've noticed is that they're better at covering up that shame. And these two attract the narcissist, where covering up the shame really good, and then the non-narcissist who cannot just cover up the shame, just walking down, eyes down, talking bad about themselves, and these two attract to one another, because the narcissist, to hide their shame, they're going to put down this other person and bring up all the insecurities of this other person to make them feel bad. And I believe that person who doesn't that has that shame, they stay in that relationship because they were maybe groomed like that as children, to see these bad relationships over and over and over again and never to leave it, and to always question themselves. Like, for instance, you may be with this narcissist and they know you have this shame and they're playing upon it. They may be telling you that you're not good enough, you're not handsome enough, you're not pretty enough, and nobody's ever going to want you. And because you may have heard these things from your family, or you could have just heard it from other kids, because kids can be mean. Come on, y'all. Kids can be bullies, and maybe these bullies, the little kids, told you you weren't good enough. And then so from that point, you didn't feel good about yourself then. You don't feel good about yourself now. So you're thinking, wow, every relationship I've been with, that's what everybody is saying. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And even if that's not what they were saying, any slight bit of criticism that somebody may have said to you, like, oh, hey, you need a clip in your hair right there. Just put that right there. It's fine. Just need a little clip right there. Put that down. You may think they're saying, oh, you look hideous and you should just go home and put yourself under a blanket or a pillow somewhere because you just look hideous. But they're just saying, no, everything is fine. You just need a little clip right there. You good, girl. But you don't hear that because your shame is taking over. So now in this relationship, where this narcissist, if they had been with somebody else who didn't have that shame and who loved themselves more and thought better of themselves, soon as that narcissist would have taken off that that sheep's clothing and exposed themselves to be this big bad wolf, the non-shame person would have left and said, oh no, this person is telling me I'm not pretty enough. Forget that, because I know I'm pretty because this and this person told me before I was pretty. I look in the mirror and I see that I'm pretty. Cheese, stuff like that. And they're not going to stick around long for that. But this person who don't feel good about themselves, they're thinking, oh, well, it's better, to just stay in this relationship. I already know what I got with this person. If I move on to a different person, I don't know what that person is going to bring to the table. I might as well just stay with this person. I'm doing good to have what I can get. And that's that thing about shame. It makes you feel so little that you take any little breadcrumbs that people give to you, because you got that fear that you're going to just stay alone, and you don't want to be alone. You're a normal person. You don't want to be alone all your days. Maybe sometimes you like to be alone, but not all the time. So you're going to take whatever you can get. Like, oh, this person is showing me some affection. Oh, I get something out of this. It's better than nothing. And you want to stay with this person just to prove to other people, oh, I can have somebody. Oh, there's nothing wrong with me. But all the while, you're feeling even smaller and smaller. And this narcissist knows that. And that's why they stay with you, because that shame that they may feel inside, they despise it. They look at it as weakness. So they see it in you and they pounce on you because they're not going to beat themselves up. So they beat it, beat you up, maybe physically, even verbally, because they can't deal with that shame inside of them. Also, with dealing with that shame, you'll notice that even with people who maybe, if you didn't grow up having everything, material things that you wanted, and you may feel bad, people making fun of you, you didn't have the Jordans, your shoes didn't get replaced as much as other people's shoes got replaced. Maybe they had 3-5 pair of shoes in rotation. Your parents, maybe they couldn't afford it. Maybe you only had 1 set of shoes in your rotation. So you grew up, people always laugh and hi at you. You didn't get along with people, so you're growing up to think, always feeling inadequate, that you didn't have enough, maybe resenting, having some jealousy toward these other people who have something, which would be normal, and you're feeling bad about yourself. And you may notice that now that you're grown, and your goal may have been, oh, I gotta stack my money, or oh, I gotta be with somebody who got money, because when I had kids, they not gonna go through what I went through. And the thing is that, of course, and I don't have kids, but I know I've been a kid, I've been parented before. And I know that most parents, if they're functioning well and not narcissists, want their kids to do better than them. That's normal. But the shame, how it affects us is that now we're overcompensating. Now it isn't just doing good for our kids and wanting them to go to higher levels. It's like we're dealing with our own issues. So it's no longer even about the kids. It's now about us. Like, I haven't repaired that shame I got in me. So now I got to make sure that my child got every new pair of Jordans that come out. I got to make sure my child the freshest. I got to make sure my child the best. And we don't stop to ask the child, what is it do you need? Because that was something that we lacked. That was something that we didn't have. Our child may not even be in the clothes like that. They may not even be in the dressing like that. They may be more eccentric, okay, with just going to the thrift store, putting some stuff together from the 80s and 70s and 90s and mixing it up. They may not be into that, and then you may find yourself getting upset with the person. I'm trying to give you everything I didn't have. Why won't you let me do it? I give you these Jordans, you just put them in the closet. You don't do anything. You don't appreciate me. Shame will cause us to rage and to start going off and snapping and having bad impacts on our relationships, because we haven't fully dealt with our own issues. Shame, again, will cause you to explode when somebody's trying to give you some constructive criticism. Have you been there before? I know I've been there before, so come on, let's tell the truth. Somebody coming to you with actual genuine motives. They want to see the best for you. They want to see you win, and they just tell you something about your work. It could be your boss, like, hey, I just need you to do X, Y, and Z a little differently. Your other work was fine, but I just need you to do this a little different. A shame response will cause somebody to blow up and go off and think, oh, this a hater. I got somebody can't stand me. My boss just doing me wrong. Like, for instance, I was once supervising somebody, and he would do a really good job at what he was doing, but he had the common tendency to always knock at my door. Samyra, I just did this. Samyra, I just did that. Telling me step by step everything he did. And one day I had him in my office, and I told him, I said, because I was trying to do reports, he was bothering me constantly. I just did this, Samyra, I just did this. And I told him, I said, you know what? I'm really happy. I even started on a positive note. I said, you come to work before on time, you submit this on time, you do all this and everything else. I said, the only thing that I need from you, as I said, I notice a lot that you stop me throughout the day telling me the things you've done. And I said, I just want you to know I see those things even when you don't tell me. And I said, but it would be helpful, if we could talk about that at a certain time, that we can talk about all the things you've done. That's totally fine. But to have it done throughout the day is a bit of a distraction, because I'm doing other things. And I said, and plus I would like to see you work more independently. I said, because I see you going further in this company. When I tell you, this man, this is how I could tell he has shame based, because he wouldn't have responded like this if he didn't. He would have took it for what I was saying, that I appreciated him, but there was something I needed him to work on. You know, I don't know what happened in his life, if he grew up with critical caretakers or if he just grew up with teachers who came down on him a lot. I don't know where it came from, because it's not just always about the parents. You could have had the best parents, but you dealing with people in this world and they can cause all type of damage, especially when you're a little kid and don't really know how to fend for yourself. So his shame-based self started speaking loud to me. He says, oh, Samyra, I'm shocked to hear this. I've worked several places in the past. I've always been praised on constantly giving reports to people and telling them what I'm doing throughout the day. They love to hear that, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know, be that as it may, that's now how I operate. And I would like to see you, you know, come to me less throughout the day, because I hired you because I knew you could do the job. Therefore, I trust you to do it, so I don't need a step-by-step, you know, playback of what you're doing through the day, because it was really small stuff. I'm not trying to hinder his job. Like, oh, Samyra, I washed the dishes. Oh, Samyra, I took out the trash. Oh, Samyra, I had the residents make their beds. I'm like, I don't need to know all those steps. You know what I'm saying? And so, and even though I said that, and hear his shame self continue to talk. Oh, well, you should appreciate it, and blah, 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 blah. And he looked at me funny ever since then, and I stood my ground on what I said, because I meant that, you know. And he just couldn't accept it for whatever reason. To him, it looked like I was attacking him. And so sometimes we do have to be careful when we're like, oh, people are hating, people hate me. Is it true that people are really hating you, or is it that shame in you speaking that cannot handle constructive criticism? Because it reminds you of that thought that you have in you. And then sometimes it may not be deep, it may be real up. You may even notice about yourself that you don't feel good enough about yourself. You feel critiqued, you feel like you're targeted. People are after you because you just don't feel good about yourself. Another way you can spot this shame is that with people that constantly have to have people to like them and to speak well of them. And I notice that sometimes we're dealing with narcissism, people have a hard time with that smear campaign because of shame. People without shame will say to themselves, okay, my mother, my stepmother, wicked witch, or the whatever, east, west, whichever it was, that these people don't like me. These people may be jealous because I have some sunshine, ray of light, the God within me. They hate, I may have accomplished some things that they have not accomplished, and they're jealous because of those things. They may be jealous of how you look. You know, people like that would say, you know, so these people are just hating because that's who they are. I'm just going to let them be that way. I'm not trying to clear up anything, because people who know me, and they know I'm not all these things the narcissist is saying that I am, all these falsehoods. But a person that's shame-based may try to appear more secure than they really are. See, they already feel inadequate. Something's wrong with them. They're not good enough. They don't meet the standard. So they may say to you, I don't care about the smear campaign. The narcissist is going to be this narcissist. They'll say that, but then behind closed door, they're calling all the family members. Oh my God, what did daddy say about me? That's not true. Daddy is lying because daddy did this on this day and I said that, and I want to let you know that's not true. And don't think this about me because I already think I'm nothing. And if you think that I'm nothing, then that must mean that I'm really nothing, just like my daddy told me. So I got to make you think that I am great. Think that I'm great. Think that I'm great. I am great. I am great. Don't believe anything bad about me. And you're going around to everybody you can trying to block this smear campaign. Why? Ask yourself why. Why do you care what these people think about you? I'm going to help you because you don't feel good about yourself. You got shame within you. You're feeling so you're overprotective. That painful emotion is causing you got to try to change other people's perception. So now instead of living your best life, now you're going all around town trying to see what people are saying. You're going on people's Facebook. Are they talking about me? Oh my God, somebody's going to think bad about me. Oh my God, I already think I'm horrible. I already, if they say that I'm not the best student, what would that mean about me? If they're not praising me, what would that say about me? That's all shame speaking, baby. That's all that shame speaking. So how can you begin to deal with some of these? This is first acknowledge that the shame is there. Give yourself some credit. And knowing that you are not the one that caused the shame, even if you did something humiliating, we all do. So acknowledge that that shame is there. What do you do from that? Oh, if you haven't already liked and subscribed to this video, if you want to go ahead and grab copies of my books from Amazon, it's also in the description. I Should Have Worn a Curtain, a novella. You can also get signed copies from me if you email me at TellSamyra123@gmail, TellSamyra123@gmail, or you can get them from Amazon. This is I Should Have Worn a Curtain Part 2. This is a complete series, and also my my book Road to Malevolence. Again, you can get these off Amazon. We're almost at the point of getting monetized on this channel, y'all. We almost at 3,900. Thank you so much. But yeah, so like I said, acknowledge that that shame is there. Shame will, like I said, try to make you feel small. So what you want to do is practice doing the opposite of feeling small. And this is not easy, but it works if you take your time. As far as doing stuff that makes you scared, you know. Now, if you're already nervous to do maybe a whole presentation by yourself in class, you want to try to do little things first. Instead of just volunteering to do the presentation, trying to raise your hand first, like knowing you know the answer. And let's say even if you don't know the answer, and this is painful if you have shame, acknowledging that sometimes you may be wrong, but having a plan for yourself. So let's say I say I'm going to raise my hand, and my plan may be, while I'm waiting for to be called on, doing some deep breathing, maybe breathing in for 5, breathing out for 7. And if your mind is telling you no, you're going to be dumb, you're going to make a fool out of yourself, everybody's going to hate you, everybody's going to laugh, using thought stopping. So once you start having those negative thoughts, stop. Out loud if nobody's around, but you're in class, so you're going to say it to yourself. Stop inside your head. Go back to your deep breathing, feeling how your heart is beating, feeling your shoulders, letting your shoulders relax. Feel how your feet feel against the floor, feeling how your buttocks, your thighs feel against the chair. You're just grounding yourself, coming into peace. You know, you get called, you give the answer. If it's right, hooray. If it's not, automatically going into your thoughts. The battle is in your mind. You got to fight your thoughts, telling yourself an affirmation. I already have it prepared. Everybody gets an answer wrong. At least I was able to be bold. Normally, I just sit back and shrink in my chair and I never say anything. But this time, at least I said something. I've had to do this before in class, and I know it works, and I was able to get better because the shame was so high. What if I get this wrong? Oh my God, the professor's going to think I'm stupid. They're going to wonder how I got in the program. Your mind can be your worst enemy if you don't learn how to shut those thoughts down by thought stopping, telling it to shut up, and taking some deep breaths. The more you continue to do raising your hand and things, not that the fear is going to go away. You may still have to deep breathe, you may still have to ground yourself, but at least your self-esteem gets built up. And I thank Jordan Peterson for this, because he said it's not that it gets easier when you're facing your fears, it's that you start building your self-esteem, because now you see, oh, I can raise my hand. I can face the fear of the rejection, that people may not like me and may not appreciate what I have to say, because it may differ from their own perspectives, their own viewpoints, but I'm doing it anyway. And you continue to build that muscle by continuing to put yourself out there, you know. Also, you're the person that's turning down all these promotions and things like that. You know, the thing is, if you continue to run from the fear, you're never going to face that thing, and you're going to be running your whole life. You're going to end up being 60 years old and never hardly accomplished anything, and played your whole life scared. You know, so the thing that you want to do is trying to face that. Maybe you don't want to be the CEO. Maybe that's too big of a step, but maybe taking a baby step, maybe taking on some more responsibility at work. Maybe instead of being a supervisor, maybe you want to move up just from the floor worker to the team lead. Actually applying for the positions and letting yourself know that if you don't get it, what's the worst that can happen? Yeah, you can go to the person, you can ask them about the reasons why you didn't get the job. And then also just holding the negative critique from not going off on your boss or anything, but taking whatever critique they giving you. And if you really want the job, asking the boss about what you could do different. And then if you need some help, getting that help from your coworkers or whoever can. Because what's the alternative? Just continue to be fearful, just continue to keep playing small. And the way that inflation or whatever is going up, you need all the coins, baby, you can get in your pocket. So that's just a few tips on actually how to deal with the shame. Going with a therapist as well, a life coach or whatever, so you can dig deeper to try to figure out what's the root of that shame, and that they can help you come up with a game plan to address your shame, because your shame is different from everybody else's. Some of us may have a little bit of shame, no shame, this much shame, that much shame, that much shame. And then we wonder, why do we keep attracting these people, these toxic people? Because they see you walking around with your head slumped over your shoulders, not making eye contact. They hear the words you say. Oh, I don't think I could wear that because my arm is too fat. Oh, I don't think I could wear this and that. I don't have my abs and everything done, all kind of things. People hear the things that you say about yourself, and that lets them know that the level of love you have for yourself. And the more that they see that you don't see the beauty within yourself or the skills that you possess, the more your value tends to go down in other people. And then they would start to treat you bad, and then they give you these little tests of saying little smart things to you that normally somebody without shame would say. Hey, don't speak to me like that. I don't like that. Don't treat me like that. It's not okay for you to be late. It's not for you to raise your voice at me unless you're screaming fire and there's some emergency and I need to get out the building. People without the shame, or with a little amount of shame, they're going to set limits. And people with that high amount of shame, the more you have, they're not going to have any of the boundaries. These are the people that feel guilty for standing up for themselves. A person could actually clear out all their bank account, and then instead of them saying, hey, I'm going to the police, this was wrong, they're calling 20 other people on the phone. Hey, my friend cleared out my bank account, but am I wrong? And somebody else is like, what? Of course you're not wrong. Go after your money. Then the shame-based person is like, but I don't know. I feel bad if it is my friend, and I feel bad if I have to go to the police. I don't want to. Maybe they really needed the money. We make up all these excuses not to face our fears. And I should have said this at the beginning, but the reason I came up with this video, I totally forgot until now. A guy on YouTube named Tim Fletcher, he's the reason I made this, because I've watched his videos before, and I even put it in my posts community section here, and he talks a lot about narcissism and shame, and I had never heard it like that before until I heard him talk about it. Narcissism and shame, and also how people who have drug and alcohol abuse also tend to have a lot of shame, and they tend to cover it up with substances, and which is another reason why they also too are attracted with the narcissist. So I'm going to segue into that. So a lot of times that is, you may see a reason why people eating addictions, drugs, alcohol, because we try to, I guess, cover up that feeling of not being good enough. We can numb ourselves for a little bit, and actually feel like we're maybe equal with other people. Like somebody, that liquid courage people say, somebody's getting drunk, then they can feel more comfortable when they're out, because now that shame is not screaming at them, you're not enough, they're not gonna like you, they're gonna hate you if they get to know you. All that, for a little time, it lessens, and you feel like you finally got that courage and finally feel good enough to mingle with these other people. But the problem is that the changes never last. Then you have these addictions, you're in and out of drug rehab, your life is even worse than when you started with the shame. So you got all other kind of crazy other problems. But I'd like to hear what you have to say down in the comment section. Thank you all for listening.